Hi everyone, in my previous video I took Jeff to Minmus and back on a 10 tons rocket. I was pretty proud of it until the time I thought I might be able to do better. So I took to myself to build a 5 tons rocket and bring Val to the moon and back. Let's go to the drawing board. This time I used the jet engine as a first stage. This way my rocket/plane will be able to do most of the atmosphere's heavy lifting on a minimum of weight. After that little trick, things became a lot easier. The rocket stage built around a small fuel tank, a spark and 2 twitches will do its job and take us to space at a velocity fast enough that a small burn is enough to circularize around Kerbal. On a few of my tries I managed to reach orbit on those 2 stages alone, but not while filming, of course. And finally we are on our last stage. It is heavier than the previous one because I replaced the solar panels with the lightest, but the battery is bigger and the xenon tanks have been doubled. Thus the acceleration is smaller and my burns towards the moon is trickier. To give you some sort of idea of the scale we are talking about here, removing the drag chutes would have given me an extra 1000 meters per second of delta V. Anyways, here we are in orbit around the moon. I chose a quite high orbit to have enough time to blitz speed off with such a small thrust and quite the gravity on the moon compared to Minmus. Landing was the absolute worst. It took me about 20 minutes and costed me 2800 meters per second of delta V. It seems like a lot and I could probably have done better, but not by much actually. First I had to kill the horizontal velocity so that I can have an idea of the terrain below me, and then I burned through most of the 20 minutes very inefficiently just to fight gravity and limit the vertical speed to something manageable. But in the end, here is our dear Val on the moon, and she did so using a ship the weight of about 10 cars. At this point I was afraid that taking off and reaching orbit would require as much delta V as landing, which would have resulted in a complicated situation because I don't have that much left in the tank. But thankfully it was easier. I just had to keep an eye on my vertical speed and keep it steady or accelerating. Again, it was a long process, but a lot less than landing. It took me about 7 minutes of burning through 1100 meters per second of delta V. After a small burn we are in orbit. We have more than enough fuel to go back to Kerbal and even to lower our apoapsis on the engine. And that's just what I did, but I did it on 2 separate burns. I'll spare you the second one, but I reached an orbit of just over 70 km high on both apoapsis and periapsis. This way I could simply burn retrograde at sunset and deorbit on the day side. I was aiming for water because I did not test the landing of this ship on the ground, but I overestimated the drag and I am heading right for the shores. Those particular solar panels cannot fold back, so we'll have to fold them back manually using the atmosphere. Boom! So long! Once the drag chute is deployed and we are close enough to the ground, it's time to jump and jetpack our way out of this. The remains of the ship follow and explode on impact. Perhaps Val could have stayed seated. But hey, here we are, she made it to the moon and back using a 5-ton ship. Woo! Anyways, it was crazy Kerman trying crazy technologies for you. Don't forget to subscribe for more and have a nice day in space.